Okay, so this is just for everybody out there that is struggling with the Segway es1, es2, and es4. I was trying to look for some fixes on the errors that you get, but I couldn't find any. So yesterday the wheel started making a loud noise. It would still run, but it would be like super loud. It almost sounded like a freaking gas motor. So I opened it up, and there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cables connected, as you can see down here. So to my surprise, this blue one had the connector here, but the rest of the cable was chopped off. So this connector here had no cable. So what I did is I grabbed some of my cables that I have in a box, and I'm not sure if you can see it, because you basically had to pull all this wheel. You need to pull it out, and then this cable you need to basically bring the wheel over closer and just grab the cable and just pull it out from here. So like in a video, so I don't know if you can see, but the blue cable is all the way back there with the yeah. So I patched it up. I don't have a soldering iron with me, so what I did is I just peeled the cable, twisted around the new one, put the heat shrink inside, fix it with the lighter, and I did the exact same thing on this side. I'm not sure how much this fix is gonna last, because unfortunately I don't have a soldering iron with me, but it's strong enough, so it should hold up pretty nice. So after you plug it in, I already did a test drive with it, and the motor is not making the noise anymore. So another issue that was solved is the extended battery is no longer causing an error. I guess a simple fix would be taking the battery out, and those little pins that you have on the connector, just kind of like bring them together so that when the battery goes in, it's tight enough. Because what happens sometimes is the pins are not touching with the battery connectors the right way. So on the dashboard, it's gonna cause an error on the controller board, I guess. So just put those pins together and then put the battery in, and that should fix an error. Sometimes when you turn the scooter on, you would see the brake lights flashing and a beeping sound on it. So that's because the extended battery is not being recognized by the controller board in here. So that's what causes the beeping sound. Another error that you might want to look out for. So it's the extended battery error, and it's also the motor loud noise. So if you got any of that, it's first of all, your pins are not going into the input of the extended battery right. So all you gotta do is just gotta like pinch them together a little bit so that the pins go in with pressure in it. That should solve the extended battery not recognized issue. And if you have any kind of noise on the motor, that's gonna be a voltage problem. So the cables, the power cables, which are these three, I believe, they are not they're not sending the voltage down the motor. So these are basically like drone motors on a larger scale. So there's three power sources. So what the controller does is it sends voltage to each one individually. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and the head, that causes the head to turn. So it's like 1, 2, and then 3. So what happens with the loud noise is that it sends voltage to 1, and maybe it's not gonna send voltage to 2, and then it sends voltage to 3. So the noise that you hear is going from 1 all the way to 3, and then 1 again, and then all the way to 3, because the second voltage connector or whatever is not passing current. So the spinning of the motor is not being smooth. So like if you hit the brakes while going forward, you're gonna see that it brakes, but it like stutters, and that's because the current is not going to the output, the outputs of the motor. So yep, that's pretty much how you can fix this. I'm sorry I can't really provide a how to do video because I basically fixed it already. All I gotta do is just plug them in and just start writing it. But that's pretty much what my issues were for me. Another thing to look out is the cables get really damaged. Like, I'm not sure if you can see this right here. But the cables are gonna get damaged on the long run because when you put the screws in, like these screws in right here, they go in and they put pressure on the cable. So with time, like when you're twisting the handle, when you're going over bumps, like these cables are gonna move, and the screw is gonna be rubbing up against it. So I would just be really careful when you like put them in a certain way so that when you put the screws in, you're not rubbing on any cables inside, because on the long term it's gonna be the friction in it. It's gonna be damaging your cables. And I mean it's an easy repair. You just gotta know basic soldering and well, heat shrinks are gonna be your friend here in this case, because eventually you're gonna have to like replace some of the heat shrinks right here. Another tip I can give you is if you can use the glue gun to glue all those little cables together, that would be better, because this is basically the controller. This is what sends the signal to the motor. So if any of these pins are making like a short anywhere, you're gonna have issues with the motor, and you're gonna have beeping sounds, and you're gonna get errors on your dashboard. So yeah, I hope this video helps someone going through the same issue like me. Take care.